Hi, I'm Karen Gibbs, Creative Director of Big Impact Batiks by Northcott, and you are in the group Karen Gibbs for the Love of Batiks. Thanks for joining me today. Are you ready for your holiday weekend? We've got Victoria Day in Canada. We've got the 4th of July here in the States. We've got the Avs parade because they won the Stanley Cup, so that's happening today. Oh yeah, it was my birthday yesterday, so everybody parties for that, right? So it's a holiday celebration. What are you doing? What are you doing this weekend? Let me know. Put some ideas out there. We're gonna have a party, I think, on Sunday. We'll probably go on the boat. There's fireworks tomorrow night, I think. So lots going on, right? I want to talk about the Big Impact Batiks first, an American Quilter. And you'll see at every single issue, we've got a different block or a different mini quilt. Okay, so are you following along? Are you having fun with it? Are you making bigger blocks? Are you making the minis? I thought the wall of minis would be fun to decorate like a sewing room or something like that, and to try different techniques. One thing about batiks, I use batiks in everything, of course, right? But what I find about batiks is they're great for applique. They're great for piecing. They're great because of the saturated colors. They're great because it's just so much fun to work with. And so I'm trying to give you different blocks or different mini quilts to try to show you that the batiks work wonderfully. The first one out, I only used 3 batiks. So I'm thinking I want to go back and do that block again, but use a whole bunch and see how it comes out. The second one, I used those first 3 batiks, and then I used 3 more, okay, a total of 6. And then the next one I used 9, next one 12. And then I think this one's number 4 right here, okay? But then on number 5, I've got a really skinny one, and I think I had to use 15 batiks, and so that was quite a challenge. And it's interesting what happens when you cut up the batiks in small pieces, right? Or if you use them in applique, or what if you use them in trapunto, or, you know, there's lots of ors, and there's lots of ways to use batiks. Speaking of small pieces, I usually, when I have a collection, we've got strike-offs, like you know, right? The strike-offs come into the studio, we approve them, and then we order sample yardage, and then we make the headers for the sales reps with the sample yardage. The strike-offs, what do you do with them? Well, we can either make them into, or give them to Lucille's to make napkins, or sometimes I'll piece them into something, okay? Just to try it out and say, okay, this is what I was thinking for this particular collection. Will this work in that type of block? And I just wanted to point this out. This one right here has a whole bunch of little teeny pieces. It's that disappearing 9 patch, right? So I use this print here, this one right here, and there's a space between it, right? It's a toss, it's an Oliver toss with the double chop, and you can see there's negative space between it. Does it work in a small block like this? Yes, it does, right? Because it's just inserting the color, okay? You kind of get the feel of the floral, but it does work in the smaller pieces in an interesting way. And you can see the different colorways here. I love the double chop. This is an interesting way of doing a double chop. Normally, when you see in a batik, a double chop, it's using the same chop twice, okay? Instead, we've created 2 chops, and with a lot of thought behind it and reserve. How about that? So it has a more contemporary feel, where we've taken the second chop and it's this white right here, and it lines up with the flower. That's quite interesting, isn't it? It's amazing what they can do, the artisans in Indonesia. This collection is called Flower Petals, and another part of the collection, you can see all behind me, is this particular print. And that's a video I shared, all right? So there's a lot of different processes in that, and not normally how you would make the batik, right? You didn't see them using the chop that we talk about all the time, or that I talked about right here. I didn't use a chop in that particular one. So is it a batik? Because a batik uses wax, right? And I got a bug flying around. And I didn't use the wax. I didn't use the chop. All right, I did something a little bit different. I laid down the color, and then I did an overprinting of black, and I used bleach The bleach brought out the motif, okay? And then the smoking effect with the soda ash and all of that kind of thing too. But mixing up the different processes gives such a unique look to this. And we can do a bigger repeat of the motif, so it's not restricted to an 8-inch or a 20-centimeter repeat. So I can do the bigger flowers, and I can get more detail in there because I'm pushing the bleach through a screen, okay, onto the color that's already been applied, the way a typical batik is applied, with the smoking and with the scrunching process, okay. But I'm doing it just a little bit differently and turning it upside down a little bit, and it just makes it a nice focus print, okay, something different. And then tying it in with these prints here, just it works fantastically in a project. Now, Flower Petals is going to be delivering probably within the next week or two to stores near you. So make sure you ask your local quilt shop if they picked it up. They had to order it quite a while ago, but see if they have it and see what kind of projects you're going to use. Now back to the American Quilter. I'm going to use one of these prints here in I think block 6. So you're going to want to make sure you grab some of it, okay? Anyway, let me know what you're doing this weekend. This is Karen Gibbs, and you're in Karen Gibbs for the Love of Batiks.